Why hasn't Billy Napier been fired? If you just put us in a bubble and said we're 2-4, I probably would have guessed Billy Napier would have been fired by now.
Yeah.
And actually, let me ask you this. If you flip the order of our games and the Texas A&M game was week 2 and USF was his past game, do you think Billy would have been fired? I would say 100% yes.
So sorry, just to understand what you're saying. You're saying we beat Long Island, lose to A&M, lose to LSU, lose to Miami,
Yes.
beat Texas, then lose to USF? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because then, 2-3 losing at home to USF, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree.
And then, I think it sometimes just the timing of things. I mean, Billy's not going to make it past the season. Like, there's just no world where that happens now. I mean, he could still go 8-4, but I don't think anyone's even counting on that. So I don't think anyone in the administration is even counting on that. My main thing here is we have one more game until we have a bye week before Georgia. Now, whether we lose or beat or win against Mississippi State, we'll both have our predictions later on in the show, but whether we lose or win that game, I think there's a chance Billy gets fired either way. If we lose, he's 100% fired. If we win, I still think he could get fired. And if you go back to 2023, when Texas A&M beat Mississippi State at home, they still fired Jimbo Fisher right after that game. So I think it's just timing, waiting for the bye week. I mean, there's Penn State fired James Franklin, and they play Iowa, and then they play Ohio State right after. Like, they didn't wait for – no, I think they have a bye week for Ohio State, actually, but they play Iowa this next week. They have one more game for a bye week. I think the difference here is Billy Napier's been on the hot seat his entire tenure, basically. There's probably people who want him fired after year 1, especially after that Oregon State game. And then year 2, there were year 3, obviously, last year. And then this year, he's obviously been fired. Florida isn't in a spot to where we're going to be making an emotional decision about this. It feels like it's going to be more calculated, more slow, be more ready compared to Penn State, 3 weeks ago, they're talking about them being a national title contender. They were the preseason number 2 team in the country. Like, Penn State still was on top of the world, and it just came tumbling down. Like, in an instant.
Can you think of a parallel to that? Because I can't. Like, struggling, like a guy who had been that long tenured in a job that went from, for all intents and purposes, 100% safe to fired in 3 weeks, barring a scandal. I can't. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yeah, I mean, the only, and he didn't even get fired after that season. Like, the way Mike Gundy fell off last year, where they were Big 12 favorites, and then end up going 3-9. Then he got fired about a month or a couple weeks ago now at this point.
Yeah,
so
they were extremely
it wasn't even like that.
With him. They let him lose 12 straight FBS games or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, they started off 3-0, right? And then went 0-9.
Yeah, because they beat Arkansas, and then they didn't win a Big 12 game. They went 0-9 in the Big 12.
Yeah, and then he got 3 games before they fired him this year.
1 and 2, yeah, because they lost to Tulsa and lost to Oregon 69-3.
Yeah, so he got a couple of games this year as well. So, yeah, the tumble for James Franklin is it's absolutely insane. But no, my point, I think there's a good chance, win or lose, Billy Napier is fired after the game next week.
You think win? That'd be pretty. Well, lose 100%. 100%. He's gone. I think he's gone for sure if they lose. But you think there's a decent chance he's gone if they win?
Yeah, I've heard from some people that they're just waiting for next week for the bye week.
Why?
Which makes sense for our admin, because our admin, and it really reflects on Billy Napier as well, they love to wait on things. They overthink everything.
That's true.
Everything is overthought. They didn't do it with Dan Mullen, but that was also later on in the year.
Yeah. And I mean, even Dan, they just that team just completely fell apart in a way that was just totally untenable. It was kind of reminded me of the way McElwain got fired. Because McElwain had a good record, but it just, things were going so bad. And it was there's no real reason to think this is getting better. Probably only going to get worse. But it still would, I don't understand I don't understand the obsession over the bye week. And I'm not saying that isn't what they're that's probably true. That's probably is what they're waiting for to an extent. But if you fire a coach, if you make the decision to fire a coach, you're kind of punting on the season. You don't fire a coach if you think there's a chance of winning anything meaningful. So like, I don't really understand the obsession with waiting till the bye, but I mean, that would kind of check out with them just overthinking everything, not wanting to do anything too rash, like wanting to make sure that the process is all good, transition wise. I just, to me, it's like, pick anyone on staff that is generally well respected by the players, name them interim, whether they have a bye or not, like just go see what happens.
Rob, I heard they're really waiting on Jaluk. Well, Jaluk's suspension is now over. So maybe they want to give him a game after the suspension.
Yeah. I that is kind of insane if they're going to make Jaluk the interim.
That's what I expect.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't. I just that's kind of wild.
That's what I've been theorizing. Matthew here, hire Jerry Neuheisel. I think UCLA's got to do everything to keep him, and he's an alum. UCLA family, I'm pretty sure. So
give Tim Skipper the job. Like literally, give Tim Skipper the job and keep Jerry Neuheisel as the OC. Like, why not?
Yep. Yeah, I'm right there with you. But so Natuno, I'm gonna ask you, why do you think Billy hasn't been fired if you don't think they're waiting for the bye week?
Well, I shouldn't say that I don't think they are. I'm more just saying if they are, I don't really understand it. But I would say the reason I don't think Billy's been fired yet is because I think it's pretty simple. I think it's kind of an Occam's razor thing. I think Scott really likes Billy Napier. I think Billy Napier has endeared himself well to the people in that administration. I think they really like him. I think they respect him. I think they recognize the things he's done that we've given him credit for. The way he's built up the program, built up the culture, built up the talent acquisition. There's been good aspects of Billy Napier's tenure. Like I said last night, I believe whoever inherits this job will inherit a better situation than he did, assuming it doesn't just get absolutely gutted in the portal. So all those things, I think they look at all those things and they just really want to see Billy get it right. I don't know why. I don't know what more Scott needs to see, but I think there's just kind of this lingering thought like, well, he figured it out last year. He got things right last year. I would contend at this point, it wouldn't matter if he did, because even if you went out, you're 8-4, probably not even with a shot at playing for the SEC with the, I mean, maybe with the tiebreakers, but probably not. So there's really no point. I don't really understand it, but like, I think it really boils down to that they like him and don't want to do something in second week of October if they don't have to.
Yeah, I think that also plays into a fact them liking him and giving him, maybe a full week. Like they tell him beforehand, like, hey, we're going to give you this last game for your last two Raw. Go out there against Mississippi State, and then we're going to be letting you go. And I feel like with the way he is with the players as well, it's maybe something that he would have wanted. And Scott Strickland, the way he likes Billy, probably would allow him to do this. And Mississippi State, not necessarily a big game, although it is a big game for us to get to a bowl. Like, I don't think it's incredibly crazy to say we can still make a bowl game. Like, beat Mississippi State, you're 3-4 heading into the Georgia game. Probably going to lose to Georgia, but then you should beat Kentucky. Put you at 4-5, and FSU doesn't look that great. And then if you can find a way to pull an upset against Tennessee or Ole Miss, like, it's not crazy to say this team could still make a bowl game, but that really doesn't have anything to do with Billy Napier at this point. So,
no. I mean, it should.
It's one of those things where it kind of just gets that monkey off your chest of Billy Napier still being the head coach. And it kind of, I know a lot of fans who are worried that we as a program are falling behind the eight ball here. I know this is what you brought up to me, that we're falling behind. Look at Penn State, look at all the other Virginia Tech, UCLA, like all the other schools that are making head coach openings, and really Penn State in particular, because they're the only like major program that made this change. And give me your thoughts on why it's not, because you said you don't think it's a really a big worry.
I think that's getting overblown. I mean, look, I get the frustration. Like, I totally understand. Like, I was ready to fire Billy 4 weeks ago. So I completely understand why, some of y'all are seeing the decision to fire Franklin and being like, look, this is what a serious athletic department with real standards looks like. I get that. All I will just say is I think you need to fire Billy because you have to salvage the vibes here. You have to try something different because this is just, it's not working. But with that being said, I think that's a different question from, is Florida like shooting itself in the foot by not firing Billy Napier? Because the fact of the matter is, there's nothing to be gained by firing a coach in October.
No.
I mean, there's a reason that the entire concept of firing coaches this early in the season is a fairly new thing. Pretty much forever, it was these decisions were made after Thanksgiving weekend, or at least like right around it. And I mean, the fact of the matter is you're not interviewing people. At the most, you're having contact with them through intermediaries, like back channel conversation stuff. And guys, I guarantee you, I don't have insider information about this. I just guarantee you they're already doing that. I guarantee you they have people talking.
It was happening last year. I can confirm it was happening last year. Which kind of guarantees it's happening this year.
Our people are 100% talking to the agents of the potential interested candidates. And so those conversations are happening. Those, that foundation is being laid, those seeds are being planted, whatever analogy you want to use. So I think that element of it is getting overblown. There's just nothing you can do. Look, you want to go hire Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's got an undefeated football team. Lane Kiffin's trying to go win a national championship. Lane Kiffin's not going to come fly to Gainesville on a Tuesday and come chat.
No,
that ain't happening. So I think, I think he should be fired, but I do understand the argument, though I don't agree with it, that look, there's nothing to be gained. The guys are still playing hard. They haven't quit on him. So it's not like, because if they quit on him, I think all bets are off, because then you're just putting out an illegitimate product every week. But that's not
what I was about to point out. Yeah. That Penn State team is done. The UCLA loss, they shouldn't have lost that team with their roster. I know UCLA goes and beats Michigan State as well. That's a game they still shouldn't have lost. But then the Northwestern game, that team is really, that team is done. That Penn State team was done. And I still don't think they probably should have fired him. I feel like it's going to come back to bite him a bit. But if the buyout wasn't crazy like that, if there was, I don't think I should really get into this, but that Penn State team was done. They're not really accomplishing anything this year. I don't know if they are with the interim head coach either. I don't know who it was. Do you see who they announced it as?
I actually didn't. I have no clue.
I haven't seen anything about that.
I'm guessing maybe Knowles, but I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Maybe
Derek McKinney. I don't know. Why are we moving slow? We're not. It's October.
Yeah,
moving slow would be firing him after the FSU game at this point.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate one more time. If it were me making the decision, it would happen by now, because I think personally, once you've made that calculation that you're going to do it, just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it.
Yep.
That's my personal philosophy, but I don't think they're setting themselves back by not doing it.
J.K. Marshall, they're afraid to fire Billy. That's just not the case, man.
I mean, there's this is not even reporting, or this has just been pretty obviously in the chatter. There is a successful sitting SEC coach who, from all indications, badly wants this job. I'm not talking about Lane Kiffin, but I'll just say, I'm not reporting.
Can you say it again?
I'm saying there's a sitting SEC coach who it seems is very interested in this. Maybe not badly wants it, but very. I'm talking about Drinkwitz.
Okay, I assume Drinkwitz. I was just making sure I heard you.
Sorry, there's been a lot of. I don't know why I was being so mysterious with that. This has been kind of out in the open. There's been a lot of chatter about Drinkwitz and this job, which I'm not even saying he's the top candidate, but someone's putting that out there, and I would assume it's probably the representation of Eli Drinkwitz.
Yeah. Signesty pushing, he needs to be fired. Jimmy Sexton should be on Scott's speed dial. Probably is at this point.
Probably. I don't think there's any AD in the country that doesn't have Jimmy Sexton on speed dial. Although Jimmy doesn't represent as many of these guys anymore. His talent agency split, and one of his other guys took over a lot of his clients.
Yeah. We are slow. Should have been gone early last season. Now, that's a different argument, I feel. But it's also firing a coach early in the year. And what Billy did last year was something he hadn't done. So that's what's different from last year and this year. If Billy gets us to 7-5, say, this year, it's okay, but we saw you do this last year and then go into next year and have that exact same thing. So if he does it this year, it doesn't matter. I still don't think it matters. I know a bunch of people a bunch of higher up people are upset. That's why I tend to think even if they do win that Mississippi State game, he's gone. And that's not a surefire win either. And if he loses, I'm like 100% sure he's gone after that game. So I don't think we're slow. I think people are just so ready for it to be done. They want that chip monkey off their back and everything to, feel like they're going to rest easy. And the head coach always gets all the blame, which you're the head coach. It's your fault if you win. It's your fault. It's your fault if you lose. And if you're Billy, it's someone else's fault if you win. But no, I'm just kidding there. But yeah, like people just want Billy gone, and the way he talks, like he's a bit monotone, doesn't really do anything exciting. Like it's going to add more onto Billy. And then the fact that it seems the number one target is someone who's so outspoken, even though he's not outspoken, he's like, he tweets. He's outspoken on his tweets.
Kiffin's actually kind of mild-mannered, like pretty soft-spoken and mild-mannered when you hear him talk. But I'm sure that's not the case behind closed doors. Yeah, there you go. I will say, going back to what you said about last season, like, and should they have fired him? I will say, like, I think making the postseason evaluation, do you fire him after that run to go 8-5? Probably not. I think that would have been probably not the right call. The problem with that is that requires you to forget the fact that decision wasn't made after a 4-game winning streak. That decision was made when you were 4-4 heading to 4-5.
From what I was told, if they would have lost those games, if he would have went 5-7, he would have been gone.
So you're saying that was just a fake? That was just a fake vote of confidence that Billy ultimately won enough games to make true?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying the real money people would have been mad enough if we didn't win those games.
Yeah. I will say I still think the administrative stuff with the lack of a president, which is still kind of a problem, I guess, but less of a problem than it was then, and just the House financial uncertainty, I think also contributed to us not wanting to fire Billy Napier. I mean, there were a lot of coaches that survived last year that probably shouldn't have, and most of them have already been fired. So
yeah, like James Franklin. No.
Yeah, exactly.
JLB, I think the only thing that's stopping this from happening is Sunbelt Billy's ridiculous buyout number. I still don't get why this game lifetime contract. Yeah, it's not. Money isn't the thing here.
I will say it's not ridiculous, but it does seem like Florida hasn't written themselves in as many, I guess, potential outs is the word I would say. Florida's on the hook. They got to pay him a lot of money right up front. They didn't stretch this buyout out. There's not, from what I understand, a lot of like mitigating factors or potential to renegotiate. It kind of sounds like we just owe him that 20.5 or whatever it is, which is unfortunate. I hope they learn from that lesson with this next one, but they won't, because if they go higher,
especially if it's Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, if you hire Lane, you're paying him $12 million a year, fully guaranteed contract. So yeah.
Rob, I wanted Billy fired at his hiring press conference when he said, "This is going to take a long time to build. You will get frustrated many times." Right there, he told me as a loser mentality. So the second part, I mean, I feel like that's kind of just a personal thing. But the first part, college football was also in a different time. There was a lot of change happening. How many coaches were legitimately taking over our situation and winning year one?
There also wasn't a lot of clear data on actually doing a huge portal flip can work.
Yep.
There wasn't really a lot of, just proof of concept of people doing that. Like, I don't blame Billy for not being great in year one. The thing is, I've been out on Billy, like, in my mind, like, I don't believe in this guy since the Arkansas loss in 2023. Really, it was kind of going into 2023 because I just thought we didn't handle that offseason very aggressively for a team looking to take a huge jump in year two. And that sort of proved to be the case. So I think that is I think the fact that it didn't happen, you going into years 2 and years 3, like, that's understandable. Talking about Billy demeanor real quick. I actually missed this last night, and I don't think we discussed it because I walked out of the room when this happened, so I didn't see it. Billy's interview coming back from the first quarter where he like got sassy was like, if he was like, He was like, yeah, if they keep running cover one, we're just going to keep burning them or something.
We didn't take we
that.
took advantage of it like once, and Lagway missed the throw for the rest of that in the fourth quarter, something like that.
It's like, dude, have a little self-awareness, man. Come on.
Well, I'll get back to that. So why hasn't Billy Napier been fired? It's kind of just waiting for the right moment. And you can argue there never is a right moment. You just rip the Band-Aid off. But with our administration, with how much Scott really likes Billy, they're going to make sure they take their time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that happens like a Monday instead of Sunday. Because how we operate.
I don't think it's happening this Monday, but I think that could happen like at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, but Billy will be fired. And it's like last year. Or not last year, sorry. When we fired Dan Mullen, we fired him after the Missouri game, a week before the FSU game. We still had Billy. We hired Billy Napier with like a week later. Not even a week later after the FSU game. Like not even, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Like Billy was hired.
They had their conference championship that he was coaching in at Louisiana, and then like pretty much the next day it got announced, I think.
And I'm pretty sure it was like already heavily rumored that it was happening.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Billy was basically the guy right after we fired Mullen, it felt like. So I wouldn't worry too much about if we're going to get the guy because we don't fire Napier in time. Billy will be fired, and who we hire won't be affected by when we fire him, unless there's just some huge malpractice. But I doubt that.
Yeah.